I get done my highlight task and the non-negotiables. I'm super happy for the day. To be very frank, I was not always like this. Many years back, I was also struggling to manage a lot of things. Like after I delivered my first baby, everything was upside down. There used to be so many surprises each day and nothing went as planned. And then I had my second kid. My plans are not going exactly the way I want. I would not have enjoyed the current moment. And anyway, I would not have got my plans executed as well. So it would have been a lose-lose situation. You have to get that quality, because just finishing the task is yes, but having that quality and satisfaction in what you did is very important. And if you can get that, that is being productive.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we have Chandana from US, and she is a productivity coach, and she is also a full-time software developer, plus she is handling her side hustle. She is also having her courses, as well as she is a mom of 2 kids below 5 years, and she manages all this alone in US, along with the household responsibilities plus side hustle plus software development. So I'm really curious, Chandana, please introduce yourself and your secret behind how you manage all these things.
Hi Anita. So basically, thank you so much for having me here with you. You kind of introduced me. This is Chandana, and I am actually, as Anita was saying, mom of 2 little kids. My elder one is 5 and my younger one is 3-year-old. By profession, I am a software developer. Yes. And by passion, I am a productivity coach. And my motto is basically to make everyone's day a little brighter than it was before. And how do I do that? I do that by helping you all go from this overwhelmed, stressed, and burnt out state to an organized and productive state. And as you were asking, right, how do I manage all these things, like being a mom of 2 kids, doing a full-time job, being a YouTuber, managing side hustle, household chores, all of this stuff? I'm not actually doing it completely alone. I have my spouse who shares a lot of these responsibilities, to be very frank. But yes, we don't get domestic help and all of that stuff here in the US, as most of you know. The fact is, on some days, I don't have it all together, because with kids, not everything goes as planned. Suddenly they get sick, or suddenly they get cranky, they get irritated, you have to attend to them. Sometimes they just need you, and things always don't go as per plan. And I always don't pressurize myself in that aspect. I'm okay with that. I just give myself that permission beforehand that even if things don't go as planned, this is my plan B. If this doesn't work, I'll just do this. So I have that mindset, and I usually pick up one focus task per day, one highlight per day, along with my non-negotiable. Even if I don't get anything else that I've planned done for the day, if I just get my highlight and my non-negotiables done, I am satisfied and happy for the day. And I think that's how I define work-life balance also. Usually people always think that if you can give 50% of your time for work and 50% of your time for family, that's work-life balance. But personally, that is not work-life balance, if you ask me, because that's not how things work, at least if you're in a software developer position, right? I mean, in this IT field, at least. On some days, you don't exactly have that much work in the sense that a lot of pressure is not there. But if you have a release, something that's going to production, or some big issues that are happening in life that need your attention at work, on those days, we have to work like more than, you have to go beyond that 9 to 5.
I can totally relate. Although 7 years down the line,
I know. You cannot just shut down your laptop after, those 9 hours or 10 hours that you're working, sometimes you have to work like 12 hours or 15 hours. But according to me, work-life balance is if you're able to give your time to your family on days your family needs and adjust that in your work, like work a little less on those days and give your energy and time more to your family when they need it. And when your work actually needs you, if you can manage things, delegate things at home to ensure that your work gets your attention and your family can manage, I think that is work-life balance. At least that's what I have noticed in my experience so far. And if you can understand that and get that going, half your things are managed. And the other half, just like I was saying before, for a day, I pick up one highlight task, which usually takes somewhere around 30 to 90 minutes. Approximately. You can never always say the exact time, but approximately in that realm, I usually have one highlight task. It can be work related, it can be my side hustle related, it can be anything, right? Anything that you want to accomplish or that will take you closer to the things that you want to get done, or that will take you closer to your goals, the needle moving tasks. So one highlight task that I have for the day, and I'm like, okay, whatever happens, if I just get this done, I'll be happy. So I'll pick that task accordingly for the day, depending upon the priorities I have, the deadlines I have, the ideas and visions I have, and all of that stuff. I get done my highlight task and the non-negotiables, I'm super happy for the day. And it's okay if things don't go per plan. If you give that permission to yourself, you will actually find yourself being able to manage things. On some days, I get a lot of extra time, like my kids really cooperate, or they just have fun among themselves. They just play with their friends and they don't ask so much. They don't come so much to me. On those days, I try to do more than I actually plan to. So I kind of go ahead on some days. And that's like a balance with the days I don't get much done. So it's all about balance. And it's also planning also takes a huge part here, because I usually plan in a way that I get most of my things done a lot before the deadline, so I have some buffer space.
That's great, actually.
These are all.
That's the thing to learn from you. How do you do that? Those skills develop. That is very, I think, a very rare percentage of people have that skill. They will be planning it ahead of time. Otherwise, I am a last moment person. What inspired you to start your side hustle as a productivity coach and your YouTube channel? You were already having so much of things to do with your full-time job and your kids. Then what inspired you that I should do all these things?
To be very frank, I was not always like this. Many years back, I was also struggling to manage a lot of things. Like, until I was a student, I was having everything go as per plan, because my mom used to cook, my parents used to take care of everything. All that I had to do was, go as per my plan, study, get good grades, participate in a few competitions and all of that good stuff. But after I got into a job, I got to understand that there are no more responsibilities now. So I tweaked a few of my routines and it worked, because I still had less moving pieces, because I was still staying with my parents and a lot of things were taken care. So I was having things under control. After marriage, I had to travel to US and I had a lot of free time, because people don't interrupt here. You don't have a lot of interruptions like milkman, paperman, housemaid, everybody coming and knocking on the door. People don't usually knock on your door here. That's plus and a minus if you ask me, but still, yeah, you have a lot of time to yourself. I was learning new technologies and all of that stuff. But after my kid, after I delivered my first baby, everything was upside down. There used to be so many surprises each day and nothing went as planned. And then I had my second kid, and you know. And then there was this COVID and working from home, where there is no actual boundary between work life and family life and all of that stuff. So I was also struggling with managing tasks, time, energy, and all of this stuff. And I started feeling that I was doing a lot of things. I was busy all the day, but I was not actually getting the things that I want to get done. I used to do a lot of things throughout the day. I used to be busy. I was not sitting idle. I was not wasting time, but still I was not getting any closer to my goals. So I was busy, but not productive. The cliched statement, right? You people usually say, don't be busy, be productive. But what exactly does that mean? I experienced that in these books. I was super interested, and I was like, okay, if I am able to manage all of these things, then that would be great. My life would become so much easier, because responsibilities are not going to come down, they're just going to increase. And if I can learn how to manage all these things, if I can get even 5% better at handling stuff, my life would become easier. That's how I actually started everything. I had interest in this area already. I used to attend summits, I used to attend meetups, I used to have conversations with people about all these things. I used to watch YouTube videos, even Saloni's, time management, productivity related YouTube videos. I used to watch all of that stuff. But I really got into everything when I started reading books. I started taking things. I usually take notes when I read books. I just don't flip and forget about it. After I started making these notes, I started feeling that, okay, this is something from this book that I can actually apply right now for my current scenario and see how it's working. So that's how I started experimenting. Because you can read all you want, but there's no point if you're not taking action. That's what I feel. So I started applying it to my life, and I started learning a lot of things out of it. Okay, this doesn't work. Okay, what next I can do? Oh, this is the challenge I am getting. Okay, so I actually started noticing things. I used to just go with the flow, but after I started implementing, I started taking notice and started reflecting on my own life. Then I was like, okay, this is somewhere I can really cut and save time. This is something I can do which might make my life a little more easier. So it was actually experimenting on myself. I learned a lot of things, and I understood that it's easy. It's not as tough as it feels. We can, manage our time, energy, and make things work. So now I have some systems and routines and habits in place that make my days go a little smoother. So this is actually the key. And also the biggest thing is having a right mindset. People usually forget about mindset, and they work on a lot of other things. But if you're not in the right state of mind, some days are like you just don't feel like doing it. So if you get into that state, whatever you do, you just cannot give your 100%. So that mindset is super duper important. That is something I understood a little recently, like 2 to 3 years back. So I'm able to pursue all my dreams right now and have enough me time. So I wanted this possible for everybody else. I actually joined Instagram just 1.5 years back. I was not at all in Instagram. I thought it was just a photo sharing app. And yes, that's how I joined Instagram. And I felt like, okay, so many people need this help. I see so many people in the same state I was in a few years back. So I thought, okay, let me start sharing what I know and see if it's helpful for others. And then a lot of people getting back to me saying, oh, this helped me. Thank you so much for sharing this and all of that stuff. So I thought, okay, fine, maybe this people really need this help. And that's how it all started. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Miss, that is such a good skill to have. If we can have the right mindset, the right way to do things, our life will be more than sorted.
That is true. Yes, I learned it a little late.
And thank you for teaching it to so many people. It is really, I think it should be included in our curriculum somewhere. Because
that is true, actually. Yes, money management, understanding about money, the finance topics, and time, how to manage your time and how to have the right mindset. all these are super important. Though I talk a lot about productivity and time management, all of that on my channel, right? On my YouTube channel or Instagram, people come to me for mindset related things also. You have to really work on your mindset. I think that is the first thing. And then comes managing everything. If you have the right mindset, you need not go behind these extrinsic motivators. You will be motivated from inside. That's something I've learned.
That's great. Means, so see, this is like when things fall in place, okay? But there can be days when things all go upside down. मतलब हमने जो सोचा है उसका सब कुछ उल्टा ही होगा. So how that time how do you miss the plan B वाला जो आपने बात किया वो you have the backup. Means how do you manage that situation?
Yeah, that's a very good question actually. So I was talking about non-negotiables, right? I just get those done. And to give you an example of how things don't go as planned, I was having a very good plan to get a lot of things done for my side hustle, like for my business, like content creation and all of that stuff on a weekend. And suddenly Friday afternoon, I received a call from my kind of family friends. They're visiting us and they're coming Friday night and they leave Sunday night. So, and they have 2 small kids as well. So 8 people together, 4 small kids. I know all my plans are going down in the drain. So immediately usually what will happen is we will get very sad. On one side, we'll be happy that people are coming, we can have fun and all of that. But when it comes to our plans, obviously we cannot execute them with people in our house, and our responsibility, we are hosting them and all of that stuff, we have to cook and all of that stuff. So immediately, like if I was my earlier self, like 2-3 years back, I used to feel sad or cringe about it at least a little bit, and I used to be like, oh my god, all my plans are gone now and all of that stuff. But now it's not like that. I have learned to embrace these things, or at least embrace these unexpected things that are happening between, because we are usually concentrated so much on achieving things that we miss the journey. Yeah, so instead what I'm concentrating now is like, okay, I am going to have a beautiful weekend and I'm going to create. Nowadays, I think that, okay, I'm going to have this beautiful weekend and create some wonderful memories. So that is what I concentrate on these days. And actually, when you concentrate on the positive side of it, what happens is you get to learn more things from that conversation with others. And I got to understand her pain points when it comes to handling so many tasks, because she's also in the same boat like me. She's not exactly working right now, but she also has 2 small kids and she's also learning a few skills. So she was sharing a few things about how she's struggling with managing things, and I got to understand some pain points and I was able to offer help. So that is like a conversation where I got to learn things. And when it comes to my plans, yes, they took a back seat, but I had this extra energy flowing in me by the end of the weekend, because we were dancing, we went to some fun rides, we had this heart-to-heart chit chat over the night, we were sharing so many things, and I was getting rest at different levels, and that actually energized me for the next week. But if I had that thought that, oh, I am not able to get anything done, my plans are not going exactly the way I want, I would not have enjoyed the current moment, and anyway I would not have got my plans executed as well. So it would have been a lose-lose situation. But now it is at least a win-lose situation. But then I got a lot of more energy that I was able to power through during the upcoming week, and I was able to make up like 30-minute chunks in between where I got to execute the tasks that I wanted to. I did not get a deep work session kind of thing, but I at least got pockets of time in between during the weekdays where I got at least the most necessary and urgent things done. So it's the point I want to make here is sometimes things don't go as planned, but just embrace it and enjoy and go with the flow on those days. Because even if you cringe about it, you still have to take in those distractions or take in those unexpected situations. If you can do something about it, definitely do it. But if you cannot do something about it, at least enjoy that moment. That's what I would say.
I really like your this trick. I think we have to just change our perspective, our story to that,
Exactly.
and look at the positive thing. Because I think whenever we are having the human interaction, it is actually energizing, especially after this pandemic now. I too feel that need. I am a kind of person who likes to be with people, and that gives me little more energy. Like you said, that gives me us energy. So that is really missing. And although the plans were like shifted, but that energy, that mental strength, yeah, that change that we get, it's also required. And so true that we should enjoy our journey. I totally agree with it.
Thank you. And when it comes to productivity, right, people always concentrate on the time management part. But an equal thing that goes hand in hand is energy management. Because let's say you have 4 hours now and you feel very low on energy, you really cannot give your 100% because productivity is like not working continuously. It's like getting whatever you have planned, getting that done in as little time as possible with as much quality as possible, and also enjoying. That's the definition of productivity I have. Your output with some fun element and enjoyment in the process. So you have to get that quality, because just finishing the task is yes, but having that quality and satisfaction in what you did is very important. And if you can get that, that is being productive. So energy management is something a lot of people look down upon or just don't remember. They always concentrate on, okay, I have to carve out time for this, I need time for this. But what about energy? What about your state of mind? Those are equally important if you want to get your things really done in a right manner. So that's important. That is why rest is very important. You actually have to schedule something or ensure you're doing something that will give you that rest. That's important.
Yeah, totally agree. So I would like to know, what all courses do you provide? If we want to learn from you, if my audience want to learn from you, so what all courses are available with you?
So basically, I mostly do one-on-one coaching, but I am blocked out for next 3 months or so because I only take 2 clients. I only concentrate on the transformation part. For me, success is when I see transformation in them. And when I help them reaching that place where they want to be when they come to me. So I can do that if I have only 2 clients. That is my bandwidth right now. The other thing that I do is one-on-one intensives, which is anywhere between 1 to 2 hours, 60 to 90 minutes, but sometimes it goes for 120 minutes also, depending upon the issue that you have. If you have one particular area that you want to excel or concentrate on and you think I can help, you can approach me through my DMs on my Instagram. The handle will be down in the description. But I'll give you some ideas and strategies to go over that. So that is another area that I help through. And the third one is my mini course, which is a self-paced course where you get access to it and you can take those lessons whenever you're free. It's called Dream It, Do It, where I will actually help you understand where you currently are and where you want to be, that gap, because without knowing that gap, you cannot fill it. So I have a worksheet that will help you understand it. Once you get a clarity of that gap, because achieving goals or achieving anything, the first step is having clarity. If you don't know what you want to achieve or where you want to go, there's no point, right? I cover both outcome-based goals and habit-based goals. If you actually answer those 14 questions, you get this crystal clear clarity. And I take a habit-based approach to achieving your goals, because depending upon discipline and motivation is not exactly the right way to go. You should have proper habits in your day-to-day life to get things done so that you are consistent and you can depend less on motivation and more on the consistency and disciplined part. So I followed that particular approach, and by the end of it, right, you will have your goals really planned out and you will know what exactly to do on a daily basis to reach your goals. And it's like I always go with 12-week goals, not yearly goals. It actually takes you from your just dreams to your vision to your goals and actually achieving them. It's like giving you a full roadmap. Those are the three things. I have some other courses in pipeline that I'm working on, but it will be the end of 2022 by the time they are launched.
Okay. Guys, she has got amazing testimonials for her course and everything. You can check out her Instagram profile. There she has everything. And personally, as far as I know Chandana, I know she is so much crystal clear and she has things planned, and I am always inspired by her clarity and inspiration, because I am little bit sometimes dicey. I get very I am like, कैसे करूँ, क्या करूँ? There are so many questions that arises in my mind, and कहते हैं ना, सबके पास वो क्वालिटी नहीं होती कि इतनी क्लैरिटी एकदम फास्ट जो स्टेप्स चाहिए वो सब हो सके. तो आई थिंक चंदना इज द राइट पर्सन टू अप्रोच इफ यू आर स्ट्रगलिंग विद योर थिंग्स. Just DM her, get to know her. Unke Instagram profile, even that contains a lot of information, and I really love her content. It is nothing bullshit. All the things are so apt and so precise, and with in simple words, nothing fancy. In simple words, you'll be able to connect with it very easily.
Thank you so much.
So we would like to know your secret of learning sources. From where do you learn all these things?
So basically the first thing is books. Definitely books have taught me so much, because people, when they write books, they interview a lot of people. They actually read so much more about that topic. They experiment with it and they put their heart and soul and write down their life's learnings. So when you cannot talk to everybody, if you read that book written by them, you get all that information in a few hours. If you are not a very good reader, I suggest that you give a try to audiobooks and also book summaries. They are a great way to grasp information. If it's non-fiction, I think that should be sufficient. Books are my number one go-to source. And then the second podcast. I kind of listen to a lot of podcasts, and I definitely watch some YouTube videos or blogs, and I also go to these summits that happen here in the US, sometimes online, sometimes offline. And another biggest source that I learned from is my own life. I kind of started noticing things that we usually take for granted, and that teaches a lot. And I always share my learnings on my Instagram stories, usually, which is coming from my personal life. So one day I spoke about how we give rest as an excuse for not doing things sometimes. So that I learned from my own weekend that I had, right? I was giving that as an excuse to myself for not doing things, because yeah, me time is important, rest is important, but not to that level where you give that as an excuse for not doing things. So things like these, nuggets like these, I share on my stories. So I think my life itself is a very big secret, which a lot of people don't know, that has taught me a lot. So noticing things is very important, and reflecting, taking that feedback and modifying it and putting it again as an experiment and seeing how it goes. That feedback loop is very important when you want to improve more and learn more. And the other thing, most important thing, is stop comparing yourself with others, because every single person's journey is very different. You cannot compare an apple with a car. Both are very different. So That's what you do when you compare yourself with another human being. No two human beings are same in any way. Their journey is completely different. Your journey is completely different. One hack that has helped me, the moment I find myself comparing with somebody else, I immediately think, would I want to swap my life with them? If I say yes, I will go ahead and compare. But 100% of the time, I say no, because I don't want to swap my life. I want my kids, I want my husband, I want my family, I want my work, I want this life. So why should I compare with them when I don't want to swap my life with them? So that's one hack that has always helped me snap out of this thought of comparison loop, right? Nowadays, I don't find myself comparing to others. The only person I compare with is my previous self, my younger self. And one cool thing that I've been doing from past few months is I'm having a small journal, like a notebook, blank notebook, 80 pages ruled notebook, not 80 pages, try to get 200 pages ruled notebook if you can. And I dedicate one page for one day. Like today is, while we are recording on May 8th. So May 8th, I have one page. So May 8, 2022, I write 2 or 3 lines about that day, the highlight, either the up or the down, something the moment when I go to bed, what do I remember about this day? 2 or 3 lines, I write it, and that's it. And I do that for every single day. I've been doing it for from March this year. And 2023, I'm going to take the same book, and 2023, May 8th, I'm going to write another 3 lines. So I'll do that for 5 years in that one page. I'm super excited to see how I'm growing. Like imagine 2025, May 8th, when I read the last 3 years, I would learn so much from myself. I would be like, oh, why was I thinking like why was I so dumb? Why was I worrying about this small thing? Because usually the things we really take seriously and worry upon, after a few years, we laugh at that. That's how it is. So once we start understanding that, our mindset actually changes a lot, and we start looking things at a very different manner. When it comes to our current situation, we grow a lot learning from ourselves and learning from the people around. So that is one thing I've started doing. I know the question you asked is very different, but I felt this is very important that I share, might be helpful to a lot more people. This is just like journaling, but you need not spend a lot more time, just 2 minutes of your day. That's it. But it helps tremendously. Trust me.
Yeah, it said now that if we can measure whatever, then only we can evaluate where is the problem. So the journaling is, I think, a very nice way to reflect back at our life. And this is a nice idea कि 3 साल पहले क्या थे, अभी क्या है.
Yeah.
Good. So what books and podcasts would you like? मतलब
yes.
जो आप follow करते हो, जो आप पढ़ रहे हो, ताकि हम भी उससे थोड़ा कुछ सीख सके.
Sure. So I read a lot of books, but a few books that I would like to say or highlight is, number one, whether you have read it or not read it, read it again. Atomic Habits. Short read, teaches you a lot. Trust me, life runs on habits, and you want to create habits the right way. He talks about a lot. James Clear talks about so much in it's straight to the point, so many examples. He touches on every single place. Read Atomic Habits. And the second one is Make Time by Jake Knapp and John Zeratsky, I believe. They are Google employees, so working on Gmail and YouTube, whatever, and they share I think like there are a lot of tips that they share, how to choose your highlight for the day. I was saying, right, I have one highlight for the day, and a lot of tactics that I learned are from this book, and a few worked for me, a few did not, but they give you so many points of how you can lead a good life and how you can make time, just the title of the book, right? Make time for the things that are actually important in your life. A lot of good things there. Read that book if you have not read it. And The All Time is a wonderful book, and there are so many tactics that you can learn. No fluff at all, straight to the point, point 1, 2, 3, 4. They just speak like that. So wonderful book. You can go with the audiobook version also if you're not the reading type.
I am
Just
not
listen
the
to
reading
it.
type. I am a highly audiobook person. Atomic Habit also have like listen only.
Atomic Habits, Make Time, Deep Work by Carl Newport is another great book. And Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy is great book. It's a very small read. It will tell you how you can overcome procrastination, all of that wonderful stuff. So Eat That Frog is really good. These are all just 2 to 3 hour reads. You can finish them very fast. And Almanac of Naval Ravikant, that is a great book. And The Alchemist, love that book. It is a very short book, but it's a wonderful book. It teaches you a lot of things about the right way to think, the perspective. It has great deep meaning, a very simple book. So I can still go on with the list, but I think this is something to start with. When it comes to podcasts, I listen to a lot of podcasts related to my job, but apart from that, I can think of 3 minutes of time crafting with Mike Wadi. He is like the productivityist. That was his earlier podcast, but now 3 minutes of time crafting. It's a very great podcast where you need not spend a lot of time. Just your tea time, you can listen to it and you can get some nuggets of gold right there. 5 minutes, each podcast is like 3 to 5 minutes long. That's it. And you get some good information out of it. So it's a very great podcast to subscribe to. And the other one is 5 a.m. Club with Jeff Sanders. Actually, this podcast is like 45 minutes long or something, but when you have time, you can listen to it. It's a great podcast. And the other one is 2000 books, book summaries for entrepreneurs. That author talks about, I think his name is Money. He talks about a lot of summaries from different books, great books, non-fiction books. And I think he is into productivity, time management, and all of this. And I also listen to The Habit Coach with the Ashton Doctor. So Habit Coach, wonderful podcast, and not exactly related to productivity, but Happier is another podcast with Gretchen Rubin that I really love. And The Moth, that is like people share their stories in a funny, some stories are very funny, some stories are very sad, some stories make you think. It's not related to productivity, but it's a great podcast that when you want to feel grateful about what you have to listen to other struggles and stories also. There are happy stories also, but Moth is something I listen to when I go for a walk, or when I'm really relaxed, when I want to tune in, when I cook or fold laundry. So that's a beautiful podcast. You need not really pay attention and take notes or anything like that. You can just listen and get into that person's shoes. You can learn storytelling skills by listening to that podcast. So these are some of my favorite podcasts. There are a lot more, like I listen to On Purpose by Jay Shetty, Oprah Winfrey's podcast. So there are a lot more. I am a very big podcast person, been listening from 2016, Hustle Post Academy. So there are a lot of more podcasts that I listen to, but these are the top few I love. Maybe.
Thank you for sharing them. I have listened to a few of them. Baki, I have to check now.
Sure.
And the final piece of advice that you would like to give my audience, how they should go ahead in their life, especially women who have either quit their career because of the pressure of handling all these things, or they want to restart, but they are not able to get that push. How will she be able to manage everything and do all these things? So something that can inspire them from your experience that you would like to share with my audience.
Yeah, sure. So I would say that the first step is do a brain dump. Just put everything that you have in your head on a paper, and don't worry about your handwriting or the way the grammatical mistakes or anything. Just write it down, whatever comes in your head. Any emotions, any plans, any goals, any aspirations, visions, just write it down. That's it. And after that, ensure there are no distractions and just write it down. Let it be like a 20-30 minutes continuous session. And after that, see everything on paper, because when you have everything in your head, you don't get that much clarity. putting it down on paper where you can see, you will start seeing some patterns. You will start noticing that, oh, okay, these are the things I really want to accomplish in my life. It sometimes seems very overwhelming when you have it in your head. You think that there's so much, but when you have it on paper, you will see that it's manageable. You can handle it, and you will also notice a few things that are actually bothering you, that are out of your control, and you will also see that there are few things that don't exactly are required for you. You can just omit them, strike those off, color code a few things that belong to certain category and organize them. You will get a lot of clarity on what exactly you want from your life. And then based upon the priorities, like the first thing that you want to achieve, don't always start 10 things at the same time, is what I would say. Just go slow, go small, give yourself permission to make mistakes, give yourself permission to take time, because we are always like, I want to be perfect, I don't want failures, I want to be successful from the get-go, and I want to do it in 1 week, 1 month, I want to have this running. Sometimes it takes time for even a normal people. So you might see somebody very successful. For example, me, you might think I'm doing all of these things, but it did not start that way. I just started with a YouTube channel. And then I added Instagram. And when I started, you can scroll all the way back in my feed and you can see how it was. My color palette was completely different. My branding was different. I was talking about all the different topics. And then I started niching down. Then I started understanding. Remember, only when you do things, you will learn. You cannot be perfect from the day one. You will change things a lot, and that's okay. That's how human beings are. You are not a machine. So remember these things. And above all, most important of all, enjoy the process. Because when you look back, let's say you achieve your goal, when you look back, you don't always see the last day when you actually achieved it. When you look back, you always remember the journey. And if that entire journey is all about stressing out, pressurizing, pushing yourself, that's not a good thing. You want to enjoy. For example, this is summer now, and summer is very precious in the place I live. We just have 4 months of good weather. And by good weather, I mean about 20 degrees centigrade. And 6 to 8 months of the year, it's below zero. And some days it's minus 30, minus 40 degrees also. So I cannot go out even if I want to. So now with everything that is going on, I still walk 1 full hour every single day. That is a non-negotiable for me. I walk 1 hour every single day in nature. I am blessed to have a beautiful trail behind my house, and I walk 1 hour. It's like 2 to 3 kilometers long. If I can make time for myself, like 1 hour, imagine how much more time you can make too. It's all about prioritizing. And remember that every single moment of your life, it's you who is making that choice. It's you who is saying, okay, this moment, I want to either take a walk or talk to my friends over phone, or watch some Netflix show or YouTube video, or mindlessly scroll on social media. It's you who is making that decision. So you actually have control of your time. It's not that I don't have time. No, you have to remove that from your dictionary. That is not true. Stop saying that, because you actually have time for everything. It's you who is prioritizing. If you know what you want, and if you know what to prioritize, you can get things done. So start small, give yourself permission to make mistakes, to take enough time to experiment, learn from those things, and start with one thing. You will learn the required skills, and once it becomes easier, you will get those things done in a smaller amount of time. You can add more to your schedule. That's how you have to go. Don't compare somebody's 20th step with your first step.
Thank you for sharing all these tips. I hope you all guys will be able to relate to it, and you should implement them. Implementing is most important. कितना भी आप मेरे यहाँ पे जो गेस्ट आते हैं उनको सुनोगे, nothing will change. ना भी वो इंस्पायर करके जाए, कितने भी टिप्स देके जाए, until and unless you don't implement them, it's a waste of time. So please guys, pick a few points, whatever is relatable with you, and start implementing. And I'm really grateful that you accepted my invite and you gave such golden nuggets to my audience. And thank you for coming to my channel. It's really my pleasure to interview you, Chandana.
No, the pleasure is mine. I loved having this conversation with you, and I'm really happy that I'm getting to interact with your community as well. So, very happy. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for coming every single time and inspiring me. Your comments really are so motivating that I don't want to go to the back seat. मैं पीछे जाना ही नहीं चाहती. I want to invite more and more people to give you this amazing learnings. And so please keep commenting. And if you have not subscribed my channel, do it now. You will be receiving more of such personalities, more of such content wherein you can get to know about different areas of our life. जैसे कि I just don't focus on one thing कि अगर productivity का coach है तो सिर्फ उतना ही. I'll try to get as many people, as many experts as possible. So thank you guys. Thank you for being till end. I'm really grateful to each one of you. And thank you, Chandana. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.